Are we set?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the, welcome to the Town of Babylon Planning Board. Today is February 13th. We do have a public hearing regarding a major subdivision. So why don't we start with the Pledge of Allegiance? Why don't you begin with that? Start. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Denise, why don't you take the roll?
To unmute.
It says mute all. No. Okay, try again. Go ahead.
Nope, you got to unmute me.
No, you're.
Okay. No. There you go.
Okay.
Patrick Halpin,
Present.
Frank Santos.
Present.
Julianne Nolan. Jerry O'Neill. Absent. Dan Truchin.
Present.
Ed Wynn.
Present.
Juan Leon. Rich Grow.
Present.
Nunzio Russo. Rich Casey. Greg Gaxiola. James Vaccaro.
Okay, thank you very much.
Read that up.
Okay.
Is that one?
Pay attention, please, Commissioner. The Planning Board shall have the right to rely on any information that is presented by the applicant. If any such information is later found to be inaccurate or incorrect, the Planning Board may determine that any approvals, building permits, or other actions previously granted in connection with the application are null and void. Our first public hearing.
Item A, public hearing, major subdivision, job number 22-47C, Town of Babylon, Phase 2 subdivision modified. Proposes to modify a previously approved subdivision application, which created the development block for Phase 2 of Wyandanch Rising in order to meet with Suffolk County Department of Health Services requirements.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Thank you for having us this
Please
evening.
state your name for the record.
Rachel Shelfo, Planning Commissioner, Town of Babylon.
Thank you.
With me tonight to help in this presentation, should there be any questions, is Larry Kuo. He is our design consultant with respect to this subdivision. He is from Lero Engineering. So thank you. Yes, we've previously been before the board with respect to this town-sponsored subdivision. In proceeding onward with our approvals to the next step and going to the Suffolk County Department of Health Services, they wanted the presentation of this map to be slightly different than what we had previously submitted and shown to this board. So what was essentially 6 parcels has now changed to 9 parcels. The substance hasn't really changed. What has happened is the county wanted any lot that was sort of being touched or subdivided in order to create a lot to be shown and presented on this map at this time. So it was sort of a format or a procedural way that they wanted the map presented to them. And we kind of went back and forth a little bit as to what was the best way to go. But ultimately, we ended up redrawing the map to satisfy their concerns. So I could very quickly walk you through it. Lot 1 is essentially the same. That is where the first building is to be constructed. We call that building LM. That is the very large 5-story apartment mixed-use building that will be built along the corner there. Lot 2, which is 0.984 acres, is unchanged. That's where we are looking at the Academy Charter School. We are currently considering an application for the construction of that school. Lot 3 is a lot that is being created in connection with a potential land swap with the post office. That parcel that you see, which is the irregularly shaped parcel, will be ceded to the post office in exchange for some land that is at the back of Lot 2, actually the front of Lot 2, in between that lot and where you see the tax Academy Charter School lot, in order to accommodate some parking, some additional parking. So that lot is just being created for purposes of a future land swap. Lot 4 is at the top of the map. There's no change proposed there. That parcel, if you recall, is part of the walkway to the pedestrian plaza. It's being created that way to accommodate Road A, which will be an ingress coming in off of Long Island Avenue, and it will connect ultimately to the pedestrian plaza, which gives pedestrians connects you to the crosswalk, the crossway, the bridge that goes to the other side of the railroad. So now getting to 5, that is the south part of the south lawn that is being created. That is the park space that is part of this overall development, and that has no change. So we're getting to the changes. The old map showed a sliver lot, lot 6. I don't know, Larry, would it help to kind of show where that
Why don't
was?
you come up here, whatever's easiest for you.
The updated map, lot 6 is over here in this indent area. Now it's become part of the road.
So essentially, they didn't want a small sliver lot to be created here, even though ultimately it would have been part of the road or joins with another lot. So we just eliminated that sliver, and that is now part of the road that will be West Lawn. So that lot 6 that had existed is now eliminated. The new lot 6 is a .256 acre parcel. It is combining 2 lots that are being subdivided as part of this. Ultimately, it is going to be part of the northern section of the park property. Similarly, new lot 7 is 0.288 acres. Again, these are parcels that are being sort of subdivided in order to create the lots that we're creating at this time and the roadway network that we're creating at this time. And the county health department wanted these to be delineated as whole lots at this time. Lot 8, 16,692 square feet, or 0.383 acres. That is the Elm Street extension. These were parts of road abandonments and a little town-owned property, which is the triangle in between the Elm Street extension and the end of Woodland. They have asked that that all be consolidated to Lot 8. And then last is Lot 9, which is on the bottom of the map, touching Commonwealth, and that is 15,575 square feet, or 0.358 acres. I think I have a very simple presentation of this. I did some coloring, and I'd like to submit it to you because I think it really sort of helps. This is the new 6, the new 7, the new 8, and the new 9. And all of these lots were being sort of traversed to create the new roadway network. And they sort of wanted us to make those a whole number and a new lot at this time.
Okay, Dan, do you want to take a look?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, Dan just let you on it.
But I got there.
I didn't want to disturb the
So
meeting.
this sliver is what's eliminated, and then they wanted to join these that were split to sort of create a new 6, 7, 8, and 9. It's just kind of getting ahead for us to something that we're not ready to do.
Yeah.
But if it kind of got us to the end point, we felt that we wanted to do it.
You and Ed want to take a look at that together?
Yes, sir, just for this side of the board.
The subdivision of
Wine
the
Edge.
Wine Edge Rest.
This is the sliver that had been created. The county health department thought it best to eliminate that. So we have done that, and we made it part of the road. These lots are the new 6, the new 7, the new 8, and the new 9. These lots were being sort of traversed by a line in the subdivisions to create one of the lots that we are looking to develop and build out at this time, or the roadway network. And they sort of didn't want part of lots remaining. So they wanted us to kind of sort of consolidate and make whole lots as much as we could on any line that was sort of being touched at this time. And that is the best way I know how to explain it. That's what they were going for, sort of like a cleaner layout. That's really all I have, Mr. Chairman. I did just look over the memo that Matt Esposito had drafted a couple of weeks ago, and it also adequately covers what we're trying to achieve here and how it was done to sort of work with the health department and get us to the next step here.
The next step. All right, anybody have any questions? I guess my question is, what will be the next step?
So the
Or-
next.
I don't want to put you on the spot. What do you envision the next couple steps to be?
Yeah, sure. So I think that there's one proposal that is very close to having a building permit be issued. So once this subdivision is finalized and it is recorded and the lots are set up, Lot 1 on your subdivision map, which we know that it is being developed with Building LM, that is almost at the end of the review period. So that's at the end of the four-step Wyandanch form-based code review process, and they are in for a building permit at this time. We have to have the lot created and this subdivision finalized in order to issue the BP. That is kind of the next one on in queue. Tax, which is the Academy Charter School, that is proposed on Lot 2 on your map. They are also currently in the form-based code review process. They're at step 2 of 4. So they're not as far along as the Albanese organization with the Building L. But those would be like after the subdivision is finalized, that's sort of our big next step for the planning department, because that's kind of setting up then the framework for permits to be issued ultimately for the next 2 buildings that will be developed. We will also be doing our town work, which is the infrastructure and the roadway network, right? And ultimately the park.
Any questions? Frank, Dan? Nope. One question first.
Yeah, quick question. The Lot 3 that you'd mentioned, the one
Yes.
that's turning in, that they're transferring over, I guess, between the charter school and that, what's going on in that Lot 3 area? What is that?
So
gonna be
that
parking?
actually will end up being, if everything goes according to plan, that will end up being sort of like additional parking at the rear of the post office property. They'll be achieving sort of more lands there for like their truck turnaround. That's why you see that part that kind of comes up a little. They need that for their larger trucks to be able to turn around. And they would be, in exchange, ceding the land that is right next to Lot 2, which is the back portion of the post office property now, which you could kind of see the labeling small on the maps. And then that will allow them almost like another row or 2 of parking right next to the Academy Charter School for their staff. So that's what's trying to be achieved there with the post office. It has been going fairly well, and we have been making some progress. They have documents under review right now, like a new memorandum of understanding with us, sort of amending what has previously existed with them. You're welcome.
Other questions? Okay, thank you very much, Commissioner. Thank you. Do we have some, pardon me, is there anyone from the public that is here that would like to address the board? You better speak now. Okay, no, there's no one from the public attending this hearing at this point.
If the board is satisfied, we could close the record.
Okay, we need a motion to close the record. Motion by Juan.
Motion?
Second by Ed.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the record is
And
closed.
if you go to the work session on the addendum, item A is job number 22-47C, Town of Babylon modified. Rich, the resolution?
Yeah, the resolution is in good order, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so that's item B.
Yes.
Okay, we need a motion to approve. Okay, motion by Ed,
Motion to approve.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Okay, you can tell them to shut up.
Okay, we are now going to close the live stream.